Good evening. I am so glad you could all make it here today. My name is Peadar, and I'm just about to put the kettle on for a cup of tea. How many of you already know how to make a cup of tea? And I mean a proper cup of tea. I see there's a few. And how many of you are American? Ah, now there's my problem. You know, I've been a visitor in your country for a period of probably 10, 11 years now. And it may be about time that I say that I live here, but that's another matter. You have been most gracious hosts, and in turn I've attempted to be a most gracious guest. You've offered to make me tea in your homes, and I've accepted. But in the process I have been forced to swallow all manners of foul liquids, both hot and cold, none of which even closely resemble tea. Let's make this clear once and for all. All tea comes from one shrub, the thea shrub, and depending on how the leaves are treated after harvesting, become either green tea, which is much favored in the East, or black tea, much favored in the West. All other abominable liquids should from this moment on be called herbal infusions. Thank you, no thank you very much. Glad they're gone. I know that some of you don't have teapots in your homes, and some of you have asked, may I use another vessel in which to make the tea? For instance, take the French press, or is it now called the Freedom Press, or something ridiculous? If you had asked my mom that, if you had asked her, can I use this to make tea? She would have said, you can, but you may not, or something equally stupid. But pay no attention to her. Mother is not always right. Not now, Mother! Look, she's the one that said, oh, tea bags. I don't believe in tea bags. Tea bags don't taste as good. They're just a fad. They'll never catch on. How stupid could you be, Mother? That's as stupid as saying, as a coffee drinker saying, I'll have my coffee, but let's have it unfiltered, shall we? Mother! Excuse that outburst. You know, I've always considered myself to be a new millennium kind of tea drinker. I have said bye-bye to the tea ball, and bye-bye to the pixie hat butterfly catcher thingy, and hello, tea bag. My motto is, tea can and should be made just about anywhere water can be boiled. And in fact, I have myself enjoyed a delightful cuppa in the most primitive of conditions, while attempting to enjoy your great out of doors. The boiling of water. Let me read you now from the good book of Fanny Merritt Farmer. Page 30, paragraph 2, second edition, 1896. Freshly boiled water should be used for the making of tea. Boiled because below the boiling point, the stimulating property, thein, would not be extracted. Freshly boiled because long cooking renders it flat and insipid to taste on account of the escape of its atmospheric gases. Tea should always be infused, never boiled. Long steeping destroys the delicate flavor by developing a large amount of tannic acid. It's a curious fact. A watched kettle never boils. Watch. But here's one we captured earlier when it thought we weren't looking. And at last it's boiled. Let's proceed with the tea making, shall we? When making tea, it's important to scald the pot, and by that I mean putting hot water in it. Shake it around. Make sure that you're getting rid of all of the tannic acids that remain from the previous use. It also serves the purpose of keeping the teapot very warm during the 3 minutes that it will take for the tea to properly steep. I personally choose to use a tea cozy in order to keep my teapot extra hot. You know, I know that to you guys in the MTV generation, 3 minutes must sound like an eternity. I even have considered using some titillating sexual imagery in order to keep your attention for that span of time. But I have thought better of it, and I don't think it would be appropriate, especially considering that we're discussing a beverage here that was so favored by the Queen Mom.
Excuse me, you haven't seen my fox milling about here, have you?
No, I haven't seen any fox. Now, could you please leave? Can't you see that I'm busy here? Thank you. He is such a nuisance, constantly invading my privacy. Speaking of invading privacy, I have a guilty little matter to discuss with you. While a guest in your homes, I have done a little bit of snooping. I've gone to your kitchens. I have opened your flour container. It has contained flour. I have opened your sugar container. It has contained sugar. I have opened your coffee container. It invariably contains coffee. I have opened your tea container and I have found sexual items, feminine hygiene products, unidentified green herbs, cash. You Americans are a very health-conscious lot. By now you should know that tea contains only half the caffeine of coffee, or as I like to call it, the big C. But even that little bit of caffeine gives me that little get up and go that I need each morning. Well, those 3 minutes seem to fly by, and this tea is just about ready. And now all of you know how to make a proper cup of tea. Please invite me over sometime. I promise, no snooping. You know, no special effort is needed, but some effort would be greatly appreciated. Ta-ra!